they told you greatness belonged to other people, to the gifted, the lucky, the connected, the people born into opportunity, while everyone else was destined to live ordinary lives. And slowly, without realizing it, you believed them. You started measuring your future by your current circumstances. You looked at your failures and called them identity. You looked at rejection and called it destiny. You looked at fear and called it realism. That is why most people never reach greatness. Not because greatness is rare, but because most people surrender before they discover what they are truly capable of. Most people quit in the invisible stage, the stage where nothing seems to happen, no recognition, no applause, no proof that your effort matters, just uncertainty. And uncertainty breaks weak minds. That is where dreams die, not in failure, but in doubt, because the average person needs evidence before they believe. But every great person in history believed before the evidence appeared. Henry Ford believed in the automobile before the world understood it. Walt Disney believed in imagination while others laughed at him. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times, but he understood something powerful. Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. The people who change the world are not always the smartest. They are the ones who refuse to stop. That is the difference. Most people worship comfort. Great people worship purpose. Comfort says, rest. Purpose says, keep going. Comfort says, maybe tomorrow. Purpose says, start now. And life always rewards the people who move before they feel ready. Because greatness does not come from motivation. It comes from discipline. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. But the people who build extraordinary lives act even when they are tired, uncertain, or afraid. That is why discipline creates freedom. The athlete training before sunrise, the entrepreneur working after rejection, the dreamer continuing while nobody believes in them. That is greatness being built in silence. The world only celebrates the victory. It never sees the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the self-doubt, or the pressure. But pressure creates power. A diamond becomes valuable because it survives pressure. Steel becomes strong because it survives fire. And so do you. Every difficult moment in your life is shaping you into someone stronger, if you choose growth instead of surrender. Because pain can either destroy you or develop you. Most people allow hardship to make them bitter. Great people allow hardship to make them wiser. That is why mindset matters so much. Your mind is a garden. If you feed it fear, fear grows. If you feed it excuses, weakness grows. But if you feed it discipline, vision, and belief, power grows. And the truth is, most people poison their own minds every day. They surround themselves with negativity, distraction, comparison, and doubt. Then they wonder why their lives never change. You cannot think like the average person and expect an extraordinary life. The moment you decide to take ownership of your mind, your future begins to change. Because your thoughts shape your decisions. Your decisions shape your habits. And your habits shape your destiny. That is why clarity is power. Most people drift through life without direction. They chase distractions instead of purpose. They spend years reacting instead of creating. But the moment a person finds a mission bigger than their excuses, everything changes. Purpose gives pain meaning. A person without purpose becomes exhausted by struggle. A person driven by vision becomes strengthened by it. So ask yourself, what kind of life demands the strongest version of you? Because the life you want cannot be built by the person you are right now. It requires growth. It requires sacrifice. You may have to outgrow old habits, old environments, old versions of yourself. And that is painful. But transformation always is. You cannot become someone new while clinging to who you used to be. Most people stay trapped because they are addicted to familiarity. Even if their current life makes them miserable, at least it feels safe. But greatness has never lived inside comfort zones. Every great leader, inventor, and visionary walked through uncertainty. They moved forward without guarantees. They trusted their vision before the world understood it. That is faith. And faith is powerful. Because when you truly believe in your future, you begin acting differently. You stop waiting for permission. You stop shrinking yourself to fit other people's expectations. You begin building your life with intention. That is when everything changes. You realize that greatness was never something outside of you. It was buried beneath fear, distraction, and doubt. And once you remove those things, the real you begins to appear. The focused you, the disciplined you, the fearless you. The version of you capable of creating a life most people only dream about. But understand this clearly. No one is coming to save you. Your future depends on your ability to master yourself, to control your thoughts, your habits, your emotions, your focus. Because the greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world. It is against the weaker version of yourself. The version that wants comfort over growth, excuses over responsibility, distraction over purpose. Every day, those two versions fight for control. And whichever one you feed becomes stronger. So feed your vision, feed your discipline, feed your purpose. Feed your mind with thoughts that elevate you instead of destroy you. Because your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. And remember this, the people who reach greatness are not superhuman. They simply refuse to quit on themselves. They fail, but they continue. They doubt, but they continue. They struggle, but they continue. While everyone else stops, they keep moving. That is the secret. Persistence, not talent alone, not luck alone, not intelligence alone. Persistence, the ability to keep going when there is no applause, no guarantee, no immediate reward. That is what separates greatness from mediocrity. So if life has tested you lately, good. Pressure is preparing you. If people doubted you, good. Use it as fuel. If the path feels lonely, good. Every person who ever built something extraordinary walked through isolation before recognition. You are not falling behind. You are being built. But you must decide that quitting is no longer an option. Decide that your future will be greater than your past. Decide that your vision matters more than your fear. Because one day, the pain you survived will become the strength that defines you. And one day, you will look back and realize something powerful. Greatness was never reserved for the chosen few. It belonged to the people who chose not to surrender.